talking about that. He
Sure.
said he got some heat for saying that black men are dating outside their race because most black women are raised by single mothers and absentee fathers and taught a don't need a man mentality. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's what I would say to my brother Columbus Short, and I'm a fan of his. Are we not all victims of the systemic oppression and injustice that racism has introduced into our community? So just as you have black women who didn't grow up with their father, you have black men who didn't grow up with their fathers or their mothers. In other words, why is it acceptable for the black man raised by a black woman without his dad to reject a black woman raised by her mother without her dad? I think sometimes black men can be guilty of a double standard where we want a perfect offering when we ourselves are not a perfect offering. And to that point, I think black men need to recognize the fact that one of the reasons we have so much conflict with black women is because we don't operate on a masculine platform.
Man, I want to ask you something Columbus Short said since we talking about that.
Sure.
He said
With our women all the time, we tend to operate on a female platform. For example, when the woman gets angry, rather than you trying to understand your queen non-emotionally. See, you can't have both people in a relationship with a low emotional IQ. Because if both people in a home, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, y'all gonna argue over everything because nobody says, I am not going to emote over this. I'm not going to deal with this with feelings. I'm going to use reason and intelligence. That's what the man is supposed to do.
Yeah.
But guess what we do? Raised by single mothers, many of us, we reflect right back to them that emotional trauma that they throwing on us. So in essence, you have two females arguing, although one is in a man's body. Black men have to start being masculine and less feminine. All this cattiness, this back and forth between black men and black women on the internet, that is feminine and feminine. Masculinity don't operate like that. Masculinity wants to understand with our women all the time. We tend to operate on where the woman is coming from. Masculinity wants to then intervene, study himself, evaluate his behavior, and try to level up to where she needs him to be. But arguing back and forth with women as a man, that's anti-masculine behavior. What we really need is some testosterone shots. We need more testosterone because black men are mimicking female behavior emotionally, and they're not even recognizing it. The woman is coming from masculinity.
We come to the 2000s, and these women are black women were raised by single
That's it,
mothers,
Hakeem.
absentee
That's long and short.
fathers that are either incarcerated.
So yeah, that was Dr. Umar talking about the state of the black masculinity in black men, and you see that a lot of our black men are more feminine than we ever seen before. So go ahead. Who want to pass it off? Hakeem, you want to start it off?
No, I'm gonna let Ruthless tackle this
Okay.
one, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rufus.
I'm very disappointed in Omar Johnson. Oh, that's the name. Omar, what's the name?
Yeah,
Omar
you're
Johnson.
right. Omar Johnson.
So here's the thing, right? Let's deep dive into this, right? About men and women, right? Let's start with the men, right? So we have a great amount of information on men over since the beginning of time, correct? Men, we can equivalent to man like let's just say a wolf, right? Or let's say animal, right? If we got to pick an animal, we'll say a wolf or a lion, something like that, right? Or even a dog. So if you constantly pick at that dog, right? The dog is gonna, because you're his master, or he's gonna try to always. But if you pick one too many times, that dog might turn it out of frustration, right? A build up, it might turn and bite you, or a lion might turn and maul you, right? So this is how men are, right? We're soldiers. We're built to destroy. We're built for war, right? So we have that light switch, right? We got a switch. It can turn on and off. And it has nothing to do with emotions. You know what I'm saying? And do we use our emotions in some cases? Yes. But we are built for war, meaning we can go in and delete 100 people and go and eat breakfast tomorrow morning. Like what's good? What's the next mission? This is what we're built to do. So when we're dealing with the woman who's a lot more unstable in her emotions, so if she's antagonizing the situation, right? She's antagonizing the situation, and the man's trying his best to refrain. Because what men, what we try to do, we try to refrain from using our capabilities, right, on our female counterparts. We try not to implement this savagery on them because we look at them as the weaker vessel, and we also care about them, especially the ones we're dealing with on a day-to-day. But at times, can emotions be triggering? Can an emotion get triggered with all the antagonization? Yes. So she constantly, once again, you picking at you, calling you, and one day, right, catch you on a real bad day. And it's just emotional, you get a little emotional, and she's saying something, a word that triggers you. You turn around and slap the shit out of her, or even beat her up, right? It's not like after that you're not going to feel bad because you're going to regret it. But you're going to know, but at the same time, you're going to know as a man, the reason why you feel bad because you know you did everything in your power to avoid this. But we understand that emotions can take over, and that emotions is what you call the wild card of every human. Right? It can make the difference between life and death. No, oh, yeah, I'm cool, dude. Yeah, you've been arguing me, calling me. I'm like, yeah, I'm big. One day, right? You called that same name, and then emotion triggers and anger, and now I'm taking it out on you. It could end up in a bad situation. So this is not us not being masculine. That is masculine is being aggressive, being assertive. When we let shit go, when we try to walk away, it's actually going against our masculine nature. Because we're trying to be the better one. We're trying to be the leader. We're trying, you know what I mean? We're trying to put an example on, and she's loud talking to us. Okay, baby, I'm just not gonna argue with you. Because I know that I'm not arguing with you, not because you're right. I'm arguing with you because what I don't want this to become, what this can become is a dangerous situation for you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't want you to say something and then I snap. You know what I'm saying? So I walk away. I'll say, okay, we agree to disagree, whatever. So this is the thing that us men practice when we're with our women. So it's not us. And if we do go beyond that, it's not us acting in femininity. No, it's if we do go beyond that, outside of that, we try to refrain from using our masculinity, then it's our masculinity on display as soldiers that we are. And then it goes into a violent manner. And, sometimes we go to jail. Sometimes we work it out. You know what I mean? But that's why I disagree with him at 100%. We will always be masculine until the day we die. We're never in a feminine state. I pass it on.
Quick question. But quick question, Ruthless. But in the state that we're in right now, as you can see, especially with some of these YouTube content creators, you see them going back and forth with women on the panel. That is a feminine trait, though.
No.
Can you agree with that? You say no.
No, because the president's debate over the economy, right? Debate is a human thing humans like to do. So when we're debating with a woman, that's not being feminine. That's not a feminine trait.
No, but they're not debating. That's different. It's the same thing. Like I can use Kevin Samuel, God rest his soul. Kevin Samuel's a prime example. You saw how he would have women come on his back on the panel. You see, he would never get into arguing with them. He would have conversation or debate with them. But I'm talking about now with these, where you see a lot of these content creators, like right now,
But it's not a
especially black content creator, they literally go back and forth with women and they screaming at them, cursing at them. Go ahead.
It's not a feminine trait because men argue too. Women argue and men argue. Men argue with men. Men argue with women. Women argue with women. Women argue with men.
But I don't think men should be. But I don't think men should be arguing with women the way women argue with women.
And this is
I have an issue with that. Go ahead.
This is where you missed what I said earlier, right? The reason we don't argue with women and it's not advised to argue with your woman is because of the propensity for violence. That is why we advise any man don't argue with a woman, because a woman will go to the very extent, right, to win that argument. And men historically have been triggered and lashed out physically or violently towards we already known in history that men, when we argue, things can the level of violence could go up. Correct.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so when we're arguing back and forth on a panel with a woman, she's saying, "Well, y'all ain't shit," and you say, "Well," and she turns around and says, "Y'all ain't shit." That's not feminine.
The thing, well,
Feminine.
Rufus, I see what you're saying, but
Shout out to
I,
Daryl
I
Long, that's also in the
only
building.
shout out to
Go
Daryl
ahead.
Long. I know some these Generation Z's, these younger men that I see that I work with, that I be around with, they don't. The thing is, I don't see the qualities of being masculine. Because, like I said, you can tell that they was raised by single mothers. Because, like when I talk, like when I have like one-on-one talks to a couple, like for instance, like I know I work with some younger people overnight at my job. That's like two or three of them and everything. And I
Hmm.
could tell they was raised by single mothers, and you could tell they have no type of masculinity. Not even in their head, they fathers, not their uncles, their
Like, what do you
granddads,
mean?
and everything.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do they do specifically?
So specifically, but I talk to women. Oh, I don't know, I don't want to talk to one. I'm not ready and everything. It's like they like talk like they still virgins in a way, and they like
That's not
20,
feminine, is it?
21.
It's not
Huh?
feminine. That's not feminine, though.
You don't think that's feminine?
No,
Okay, what's feminine to you?
feminine is if you're acting gay, right? You're trying to a gay man who's trying to portray like a female, so he's acting. He changes his voice tone, right, and the dress.
But
But
I
now,
got a
if
question.
yeah,
Is there's like that's just do you think that being feminist is like maybe there's multiple layers to it or just straight out feminine?
no, it's just straight. Being feminine, right, is a woman is feminine on the most part for the majority of her social structure, right?
Yeah, her existence. Yeah, her existence. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
She has masculinity. She has masculinity in her because why? She came from a man, right? So she has the traits of masculinity too. But
Correct.
most of our history, women use their femininity because it is the object of survival, right? It's the object of being pleasing the man, right? And because they
Mm-hmm.
know that the propensity for violence for this man, and they don't want to trigger this man masculinity on them, so they're being feminine, right?
Okay.
Okay, right, like that. Now, men when they're refraining from, well, I'm not ready to talk to women. I don't want to deal with women right now. That's not being feminine. He's being maybe wise. Maybe he had a bad experience with women, right? Or he's seen something that he's not really want to go through, right? It's called being wise and understanding what he's dealing with and knowing that if I'm going to approach this situation or this woman or a woman that I want, I want to make sure that I go in with, some sort of, you know, wisdom and understanding that I'm not going to underestimate her ability to be savage.
Okay.
But you ask me in this generation when it comes to the aspect of black men, because Umar was talking about black men. It is a lot of black men right now, and that's acting a lot of that have a lot of the feminine traits heavy. Now, don't get me wrong. We all have masculine and feminine trait. Every
But
human being within this earth.
you're not
But
being specific.
a lot of black men right now is operating more on their feminine traits. Go
You're not
ahead.
being, but you're laying a general statement out, right? But you're not
What you
being specific.
mean?
What's feminine? Like, oh, I see men showing feminine traits. What is those traits?
Okay, I got it. Okay,
I'm gonna
how
tell.
about
I'm
this?
gonna tell. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How
Go ahead.
about
Go.
this? How about this? I got a better question. Do you feel like a lot of men have like a watered down masculinity? How about that?
No, no. We have different styles of men. You have the alphas, right, who are aggressive, assertive, which are called leaders,
Which
right?
are rare, yeah, they're
Then you
rare,
have
rare ones.
you have men who are well mannered, right? You have men who are soft spoken.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have different levels of men on how they carry themselves day to day. But every man within themselves have that propensity of violence, though, right? Even though he's soft spoken or well mannered, or but he act like a alpha, right? No matter what, he has a propensity of violence in this construct that more production is more productive to be well mannered and soft spoken because you're dealing with money, right? You're going to work, you're dealing with co-workers, you're dealing with bosses, you're dealing at the store when you go shop, it's different things, right? Your food cook, you want when you get your food, bro, you don't want to be that bitch make my food, right? Because you don't want to spit in it. So you want to be cool, right? Yeah, So it's more beneficial in the society to be soft-spoken and well-mannered than it is to be assertive and demanding. Y'all have to
No,
be
but a
balanced.
prime example. No, but prime example. Like for example, the reason why I say a lot of men around here pretty much have a lot of feminine traits. Prime example, the situation with the car situation. Soon a woman, let's say if I was in that situation, a woman say, "Get out of my car." I'm say, "Okay, don't worry. Here's the keys. I'm gone. Don't worry about it. I attach your Uber home. I'm not gonna argue with you, right?" But at the same time, you saw how the man was combative. He was calling her like, "Oh, what you do?" That's feminine traits. That's something a
No,
woman
it's
would
not.
do.
No, that's not feminine. Because he doesn't disagree with her putting him out the car, and he's trying to make a case to why he shouldn't be put out the car. It's just a disagreement. That's not feminine.
But the way of his tone was like, for example, you see how me and you having a conversation right now. They say me and you had it because one time me and you did have a heated debate. You see how like Rufus, you a B, you this and this and that. I'm not calling out your name or nothing. We having a even though it was heated, it was still a mature conversation. You have man today literally calling women B's, H, and this and that. That's a feminine trait.
No,
That's
no,
stuff
it's not.
women
No,
would do,
no. Okay, so let me explain something. Break something down to you. That is a form of verbal violence, right?
which is a feminine trait. You would
No,
say that was a feminine trait,
no,
right?
no. No. It's. I'm not gonna put my hands on you, right? So I'm gonna. Since you're calling me out my name or whatever, I feel like you're disrespecting me. This is my violent where I'm being violent towards you. So I'm just using psychological warfare, which is a masculine trait, and women use it as well. So it's on both sides. So if a man uses psychological warfare, so the woman says, "Get out the car." Well, I don't want to get out the car. Well, I gotta get out the car because you didn't fill the gas tank up. Man, I got you next time. You gotta get out of my car. And I'm arguing like how we do in the hood, like blah 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 blah. I'm just because commonly this is what we do. Is usually she folds, but maybe this particular time she's not folding, right? Because it's like my fifth time doing it. It ain't like first time. So I'm not being feminine, homie. I'm just trying to manipulate her. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to manipulate her to, yeah, I'm using your car. I'm not putting no motherfucking gas in it. But I'm going to manipulate you so you can stop tripping so I get it. I don't want to walk or catch the bus home.
I can highlight on Mimi comment the first one, which she talking about femininity, and then the second one as well. And why I say it's immature. It is immature. But look, Mimi gave you the definition of femininity when it comes to a woman femininity, and also the second
Non-quality
comment.
or
Go ahead,
attributes
Akin.
regarding as a characteristics of a woman or a girl. She said, "I think the part of you're talking about is more of being in an emotional, on a driven state, but I have to agree with Ruthless on this one. Verbal abuse is not gender specific."
No, but verbal is really not specific. However, at the same time, majority of the time, people literally say that's more of a woman's trace.
No,
Everybody can agree to that.
no.
You say no.
We use that. And when we do use that term, it's more of a verbal assault, right? We're trying to make punch down. That's just,
Yeah,
now,
yeah, see, I agree with you on that one. When it
punch
comes to the
down,
aspect of a man, it's
right?
more
But,
verbal assault than
right.
verbal abuse. But for a woman, verbal abuse, they would say they'll put that more to a woman saying, because men's more verbal assault because we're more physical.
No, we argue with each other, call each other names too all the time.
No, I agree with you, but
We,
a lot of people would
see,
consider
what's
that to be a feminine trait.
a
If,
feminine
if
trait?
if I argue with a female and call her a B, a lot of people would say, "Ronnie, you being feminine right now."
No, it's not a feminine trait. Now, there are dudes who worship women and put women on a high pedestal, and if they see that you are arguing with them or having a disagreement, then they want to equivalate that, right? But that's because they're mostly siding with the woman. But truthfully, right, if I'm having a debate with a woman, whether regardless of whether the voice tone or whether it's yelling or whether it's in structure, it's a fucking debate. It's not a feminine trait. That is just us having a disagreement. Now, the way I present it is how I present it. Now, is it the best way to present it that way? Now, one could argue and say you could be better about your communication, which New Jordan ever would agree with. You know what I'm saying? How to communicate yourself without yelling or name calling, which Ronnie Ron would definitely agree with, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what we're saying on these YouTube streets and these debate platforms is we can be better about presenting our arguments without without punching down or without being belligerent or vulgar.
Right. Right.
That's what we're saying, but it's not feminine. It's just psychological warfare between two men, a man and woman, or a woman and woman, whatever, right? It's a warfare that's going on, which is verbally assaulting each other, okay, which is a form of violence that's psychological.
Okay, prime example. We did remember last on Wednesday we did a review about Brittany Renner and Just Perfect thing. Ruthless was on the panel, and I did not only that, but we also clipped that some of the stuff you said because some of the stuff you were saying was true, right? Like how Brittany Renner conducted herself in the debate. You saw in the debate, but mind you, a lot of people didn't get upset at her too much because they expect that from a woman to go in at each other like that. But let's say if it was a man and a man, like a Tommy Sotomayor. You saw how Tommy be on these panels? Tommy be going in on these men. What's the first thing people say in the chat? Hakeem and Jordan and Ruthless. Tommy's being emotional. He's being like a female. What's wrong with him?
And that is a mistake, a great error. That is an erroneous statement.
But then people need to correct that then because they do that all the time to Tommy Sotomayor.
If it's because somebody's emotionally passionate about something, does not make them a female. Or
no, I agree. I agree with that. I do. I totally agree with what you're saying. I don't disagree at all.
Okay, or being feminine, right? Now, men have emotions too.
Yes.
Yes. So that's once again, we were here first, not the woman. Number
that's
one.
Debatable. That's debatable.
No, the man was first. Adam was first. Then came Eve. Right?
But I said that's debatable because that's based on biblical. It's debatable because it's based on biblical principles. You know, it deals with faith and so I'm just saying.
The man was here first, then the woman, right? So the woman, that's why she's called woman or woman, right? So she's.
I agree with you, Ruthless. I'm saying it's debatable just for the audience. You know, we got different broadcast. I was saying it's debatable.
Everything's debatable if somebody wants to take another side. But the point I'm making is everything about our came from us, right? So when women acted in their emotions, she really got it from us. The difference between men and women is that women, they rely more on, they deal more in their emotions than we do. We're more, logical, but we do have emotions and we can be emotional. If somebody delete my best friend, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
Emotion. That can hit emotion. Now I'm coming to you on an emotion. And I'm coming to take you out on the emotion. That don't make me feminine, though.
No, we coming from the feminine aspect. From what Umar was stating, he was coming from a. Mimi had me laugh because I agree with Ruthless. I'm with him tonight. He was coming from a feminine aspect because I think because Umar goes around, I think he sees what's going on within these panels and within these conversations, and you see how men are conducting themselves within those conversations. Like I say, like right now we're having a mature conversation. You see, we both of us are passionate because when I move my hand, I'm very passionate. Jordan's very passionate, especially I can. Ruthless, you very passionate, but we still was able to conduct ourselves maturely. But then when you see these other panels, these men be totally immature, and that's why they say they're more feminine.
But that's just but that's a slight. That's a slight, Ronnie, wrong. I'm telling you, you acting like the female. That's a slight. I'm calling you a bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying.
But doesn't mean you're really acting like that. Doesn't mean that's what you are. It's just that I want something to say bad about you to make you feel in front of the audience to win this say back and forth we're having. Oh, you sound like a female. So basically, I'm calling you a female. Basically, I'm calling you a bitch. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean I'm a bitch. It doesn't mean I'm acting like it. Just words are used for psychological warfare, just like weapons are. And you have to understand this, Ronnie, wrong. And what's the one thing that'll get you deleted in these streets? Go up to any man pretty much and say use a bitch, especially a black man. Go up to pretty much any black man and say use a bitch. I guarantee you that might get you out of here, or at least you going to the hospital.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you.
Now the time something's going to go down. Unless he's a real little dude, you're really big, then he might like. He might.
No, but even then, it still trigger. Yeah, it still triggers something within you. It's still
like, man, I'm gonna get my pistol, right? If you want, this you go up to this is once again, right? Those are trigger words. You a hoe, right? Oh, nigga, you acting like don't mean you. That's just words to take it to a violent level. Now I'm disrespecting you because I don't respect you anymore. That is not a feminine trait. That is me causing a war because why? I'm a soldier and this is what I want a war about. And I'm gonna use this word or this particular phrase on you because I no longer respect you and now I want it with you. Now,
Okay, another question to ask you. We hear this a lot. They say, Hakeem, me and Hakeem and Jordan spoke about it one time. I don't think he was here when we spoke about it. Should man express his emotion? Because a lot of people been saying that for a very long time. That's why a lot of men today are going to therapy, which is a good thing. They are expressing their emotion on the couch. So should man express their emotion more?
well, you can't control
Your point of
emotions.
view.
Emotion is something you can't control, right? You can't
Yes, you can.
control.
You can control your emotion.
Listen, okay. So in that case, you know who you fall in love with, right? You ask, well, why he fall in love with her? He have all these 10 beautiful women over here, but he fall in love with this, right? Can't control emotions,
Because
right?
she's the one.
Emotions are uncontrollable because they can be triggered. Emotions have to be triggered. Men and women just don't walk around just being emotional. Emotions have to be triggered, Ronnie Ron. It has to be triggered. And it'll be one of many things or several things that trigger these emotions. Whether it be, you tripping on people cutting you off on the freeway. You know what I'm saying? That might trigger, which is anger, right? Which is emotion, right? Or sadness is an emotion, right? So these are triggered. These are not something people just walk around and all of a sudden just, I'm just, now are some people emotional or triggered by things we don't understand? Yes. But once again, you can't control them. You don't know how far you're going to go when you get emotional. This is why, once again, this is why men show a lot of respect to men on the streets. This is why we walk around each other, right? And not try to bring it because we understand that we don't want to trigger our emotion because then now it can go bad for us, right? Because now the anger kick in and now it can become violent. Now, let's say I win, I can go to jail for attempted murder or whatever. So once again,
Right.
for men, we don't really like to use our emotions because it can be very catastrophic. It can be more dangerous than women, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing in
Well,
emotion more because they're triggered more, right? Because they can't really beat us up physically, so they like get emotional and it's like they just it bothers them. But once again, it's something that's triggered, and it can be triggered by many different nuances. Every human may be something different, but it's not a feminine trait.
wait. Well,
Emotions has no gender. It just happens.
go ahead, Hakeem. What's your thoughts on everything we were saying? Because I know you've been quiet for a minute. Go ahead.
No, I just been hearing this, and I agree with a lot y'all say, you know what I mean, but I do want to stand that there is certain behavior that can be identified as, hey, you know what I mean, like we all come from a similar community that we identify certain behavior, like, yo, homeboy, you acting like a bee right now, or you acting real soft. You know what I mean? Depending on what neighbor you from, what block you from, there's certain SOP, standard of procedures you go about. We know we're not supposed to be chatty catty with no woman or be going back and forth. So when we talking about masculinity, the younger generation don't have no masculinity.
That's what you're wrong. John King, you're wrong for that. You just call them all bitches.
No, but let Hakeem finish his point. I want to hear his point because he didn't really speak on the Umar thing. But go ahead,
No,
let
no,
hear your
no.
point.
Listen. Let's get this. Listen, I'm not too far from your generation. There's certain things that these young guys do we ain't gonna do. That we ain't gonna do, they gonna do. We see this online all day. I might not say all of them, but a large majority of them don't stand on procedures. What the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s done taught us, these young guys in the 90s, listen, the 90s, the 99s, the early 2000s, and the 2010s, they don't stand on nothing.
You ain't got no facts on that. You can't have no stats on that.
Bro, look at
Do you really
you. Are
need?
you
Do you really need stats if you can see it?
You listen. These men will delete you quicker than ever if you get out.
okay? You proved my point right there.
But you prove Hakeem's point though. You
No,
prove his point.
no. Okay, I'm gonna have to get in here. Rock, what Hakeem is talking about, standing on something, has nothing to do with being feminine, nigga.
It
If I'm
has a lot to do
standing on
with being feminine. What?
men, listen, if you take a nigga money, he gonna stand on that and take you out.
Yeah, but
Talking
check
about.
this out.
So
There's
let me say this, Hakeem. When you said B, you acting like a B, right?
Yeah.
Not because maybe you don't want to fight this big dude. That don't mean you're feminine. That might mean you just don't feel like you want to fight this big dude. Maybe you don't think
And,
you want to win.
yeah.
We
And
use
I
that.
said,
We use that as gaslighting.
okay, we do, but I said that general, but I did mean it in the way where we're saying that there are certain ways where your peers or your network might be like, yo, fam, you know that wasn't copacetic what you just did. It's a lot of stuff that we check. The younger guys are not doing that. They're not saying like, yo, let me tell you something. What's soft to them is, bro, you didn't up the score yet.
Okay, that has nothing to do with femininity, though.
No, but I'm just saying they might think a dude is soft by not slapping somebody or doing that. But I'm just saying, like,
So what they're saying is for you showing grace, right, and forgiving someone for something or not acting on something, you acting like a woman. That's just gaslighting tactics.
oh, so I agree.
You're feminine, though. Now, yeah, do men look for weaknesses? If they see your weakness, will they attack you? Yes. What are you talking about? Of course. That don't mean you feminine. Just if a guy sees that you're really extra nice, no, this nigga, hey, that nigga just called you a bitch. What you gonna do about it? Now you running with your clique, this tough guy clique, and they say, hey, homie, that nigga he called you a B at the club last night. What you gonna do about that? Now,
That's being feminine.
that's not being feminine. It's just like you might not.
No, that's being
Hold on,
feminine. Wanting to quickly,
hold on now,
yeah.
Hakeem. I'll break it down to you. Duke, with that word, him calling me a B and me assessing the situation, do I go get my pistol? Because I know if I'm not going to get a fair one with this guy, right? Do I go get my gun and take him out and get a life sentence? Or should I just let that shit go? And then my homies are looking at me like, man, you done got a little soft, huh? No, nigga, I just got smarter. And you learn to understand what's worth it and what's not.
So you display the masculine trait, but what I'm saying is
That's
the
what he did.
he doesn't, but the femininity is just let me up the score, cop the blick on them.
That ain't feminine. No, that's no.
That is
That's
feminine.
sport.
That is feminine.
No, it's
That's
not.
being. That's
Sport,
winning.
man.
To quickly. Hey, hey,
You've
hey,
been
hey.
no, you've been brainwashed by the females, right? You was a mother, single mother, part of a single mother. So I understand why you're thinking that way. But when we talk about upper scores, because we're men of war. America, when they
No,
looked at this country, they said we're gonna take this shit. Right? Was that being feminine?
no.
No. So we won, yeah, one up, going taking it out.
Listen,
That's not being feminine, it's being masculine. That's
when,
being masculine, Hakeem.
when the last time you ever heard somebody run that fade? When that last time you ever heard somebody say that?
Well, I hear a lot.
Just in general. Not.
For the younger
Huh?
generation, I hear a lot. Now the older generation, we too much. We gonna gun you down. We ain't we retire from fighting. But the
No, no.
younger generation,
Listen.
homies just still running fades on the block. Crips
No,
and like,
I've yet to hear that. I've yet to hear that.
that's
That's
because
cat.
you ain't in that life like that. Come out
Yeah,
here in Cali.
Moses, I hear them say that I'm about to get the fire. I'm about to get the
I'm
stick.
about to get it. So listen. A lot of younger guys are very emotional. So they're
Well,
gonna do emotional things that has nothing to do with war or
okay, but
conquer.
that's not feminine, though, Hakeem.
That is feminine.
No, it's not. Men
That is
have
feminine.
emotions.
Acting and emotion. Hey,
It's
hey,
not. No, it's not.
hey,
No, it's not.
hey,
No, it's
hey.
not. That's not feminine, Hakeem. That's not feminine. Now you may be a sore loser. You may want retribution or whatever it may be. That's not active feminine. You're active masculine. Now you want to talk about what's right and wrong. Now we can have the conversation, right? Is it wrong to try to gaslight a situation that could be squandered, that could be put to bed? Now we can have that conversation. Now you're not fit. Now you may be unfit for leadership. You may be unfit to be a problem solver. Right, I'll give you that. But that doesn't make you feminine. It just makes you not a leader that everybody wants to follow because you don't know how to use reason, right, to get through shit. So this is why dudes who most likely are the leaders, they have the ability to discern whether to go to war or not. They're just not going over every dumb shit.
I don't know. This one is a tough one because I agree with what Ruthless is saying, and I agree with what Umar is saying as well, and Hakeem and everybody said on the panel. But to me, I'm still conflicted on the aspect of the masculinity and the femininity. Because like I said, because we as human, we both have both, but man is supposed to be more logical than women are. Women are supposed to act in emotion at all times, and we're supposed to be able to not because you can't really control someone's emotion, but able to tame it for a certain period of time.
Well, Rodney, I
So
agree.
it is
We are more logical. We are more logical than women. Okay, that doesn't take away from us still not being emotional. We're still gonna get emotional. Like if we're triggered, emotions are triggered. If somebody come up right next to you, sitting there, you and your homies sitting in Miami, right? And you come up, dot your homie, bam, and that emotion get triggered. Like, you know what I mean? You're not being
yes.
feminine. You're not turning into a female. You're not feminine. Being feminine. Now you're getting angry, or you're getting because it hurts because this is your best friend. This is who you grew up with, or whatever. And now you're moving in your emotions. Let me let it like this. Men are not as emotional as women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Meaning we do not get triggered as easy as women in a lot of different things. It just takes a lot more egregious stuff or more, I would say, more something that's a little bit more serious for us to get into that emotion. But the emotion's still there. We still have the propensity to be emotional. It doesn't mean we're acting like a woman. We're human. We still have emotions. We're just not more as invested as the women are. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's the only difference.
We have some serious issue within our community. I think I think these type of conversations needed. I think it's more healthy to talk about like emotion between masculinity and femininity because I think, like you say, Ruthless and Hakeem and Jordan stated, there's a lot of things that we don't know, and that's why we got to have these type of conversations so we can kind of understand it. Because one thing, Ruthless, like I said, I agree with you. I agree with Umar. I agree with Hakeem. I agree with Jordan. It's just that we just still gotta have these conversations because I think this generation, because we get misconfused because now you have younger generation. Like for example, when they lose the basketball game, they start crying. Then you have men telling them, "Why are you crying for? You don't. Men not supposed to cry." And you have
But
women doing the same thing to that little boy.
that's what I'm saying, right? That's just a that's just a that is a incorrect statement, right? It's an incorrect gesture. If my mama dies and I cry, that don't make me
No,
less of
that's
a
understandable. That's
or
yeah. They'll say that's understandable. Yes,
if I lose a game that I was mostly invested into and I tear up, it does not make me
they call you
feminine.
soft.
That,
Yeah, I know it don't, but they'll call you soft.
Guess what?
They will call you soft.
Here's where I'm gonna have to take you down memory lane. Yeah, you may call me soft, right? But that could then cost you your life.
Correct.
So that's the difference, right? That's the difference. A woman, you tell her, why you crying? You soft. She, just leave me alone. Well, you tell him, nigga, why you crying? You soft. He take you out. And that can happen, or something bad can happen to you. That's what makes it we're us not feminine, right? Yeah, we cry because of emotion. We might build up and cry a little bit because of emotion. It just comes out. But I'm still that savage beast that can hurt you. And still, I'm still masculine, nigga, at the end of the day. Don't get it twisted. Don't let these tears fool you. Let them school you. Don't let me being kind to someone or being respectful to someone underestimate my ability to take you out. And this is where a lot of men make the mistake because they underestimate because the person ain't always walking around looking tough and acting tough. That, oh, he ain't shit. He feminine. He feminine. Make that move. Make your move then. Then when that move you make, it better be your best one because it could be your last one. So this is why we have to keep things in perspective, right? And us men need to teach and understand that this is why we show respect or give respect because you do not want to trigger a dude and he unleashes masculinity on you and take you out. You don't want that. This is why you don't act like that. Whatever you, how you doing? Excuse me. That's why he said, pardon me. Right? Oh, how you doing? You just ain't walking up to dude saying, yeah, you're feminine. You look feminine, nigga. You ain't doing that. So let's not let the propaganda of life like corrupt our mind and thinking that, oh, because of dude crying, he's soft. And you might say that in your mind, but you might not want to tell him that. Right? You might not want to tell him that. You might not want to take that road. Because see what I'm saying? And I've seen it and I have a little more experience than you guys because I've been on the highest levels of penitentiaries, walked the yards. You see what I'm saying? And I understand the one thing I understand gravely, right, is respect in the pen is currency. So you can go ahead and think a nigga soft if you want to. it could cost you a price that you don't really want to pay.
Okay, then let's come to the aspect of before we move forward. But this is the last one when it comes to the aspect of women masculinity, because a lot of men talks about that a lot. Women are being masculine on a panel. It's very unattractive. I don't want my woman masculine. I want my woman feminine. Go ahead, Akeem. Jordan, dive into that real quick before we move forward. Go ahead.
You want to know something? I've always had issues dealing with a combative, over masculine woman. So femininity is the key. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's soft, easygoing, be able to respond to you in a way. It doesn't work off if you feel like you're talking to another man. So yeah, you know what I mean.
Why, Hakeem? Why you had to say it like?
But it's true though, man. Like
Hey,
something.
no, I agree with you, Akeem. Like I said, I was born around women. My mom, my grandmother, they've been nice, feminine. Talk nice. Know their manners and everything. Don't be cuss. Don't rarely cuss. If they do cuss, they never cuss around me and everything. And that's from when I saw that. That's what I wanted, and that's what I got. And hopefully, I teach my daughter to show feminine ways and everything, because when it comes to these
Jordan said
women,
I know.
they be cussing like sailors like us and everything. I'm like, that is not sexy. That is not whatsoever. I can't stand it.
Go ahead, Ruthless. Cause Ruthless said, men should operate in both. Which I agree. They should be able to operate in both, feminine and
We
they
don't.
masculine and also
No, we
feminine.
don't.
So
No,
go
no, no,
ahead.
no, 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 no. So we don't. We operate masculine all the time. Now, if you exercise emotion, exercise emotion doesn't mean you're feminine. Women have masculine traits because they came from a man. That's what they call a woman, right? A woman.
Right.
The name on it is self-explanatory. So yes, there are parts of them masculine. Yes, they're born with that. Every woman's born with that, right? So they have that side of them. The femininity they enter because it gets them a lot more manipulation power, and also helps them. It's what they preferably like to do in a lot of situations. But as time is moving on, women are now operating more in their masculine trait, because they're trying to match the energy of men, because they want equality, right? This is what feminism is doing, right? It's women that thinking they're on men's level
You
emotionally
okay? What's
and
wrong?
mentally wise, and this is why they're challenging men for the throne,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is where we're having a disconnect, because men, they're attracted to her sweet side that she's been doing for centuries and centuries, and now that she's not giving that side up no more, the men will say, "Hey, we want that back. Come on, give it back." Now, this one goes back to sexual liberation, right? If you really think about that word sexual liberation, right? You got to imagine these men saw these women acting out in such a way where they had to put them in a box, basically in a jail cell of sexuality, right? And women fought for it to be what? Sexually liberated, like almost like getting out of prison, like they won their appeal. You know what I'm saying? And now the results are they're acting in a masculine state, because they see that with their sexuality they have gotten or garnered worship from men and the power to manipulate men to give them things without anything in return. Now they're just saying, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna be nice about it anymore. Just cash at me, nigga. If you want to talk to me, oh, yeah, yeah, well, yeah, use
hey,
this,
hey, hey, and then a nigga be like, "Hey, you want this cash? Fuck for it, then. Fuck
yeah,
for it."
exactly.
But I can't. They ain't doing that though. You know them boys don't be. They don't be talking like that.
Over here, you gonna have to do that.
Nobody see. The only reason highlight made me comment because she's the only woman that engaging right now. So that's why I say I like the aspect of her speaking because it's true though. The only reason why some men see women are masculine is because the simple fact is those men are not. That's the reason why, and I agree with her on that statement.
But we have to understand that women and men are essentially, you know, creatures of likeness in a lot of ways, right? The woman
Hmm.
has every woman, one man, that's why you call him a woman, is has masculine traits, but through history, she's been taught to operate in her femininity to garner. This is how they would catch the rich guy or the guy with great resources, right? They get his attention by being feminine and beautiful, right? Their beauty is their currency. Their beauty and their femininity is their currency. And back in those
Yes,
days, you know what I'm saying? That's what
and it
they do.
still is.
He come up, the guy with balling in royal cloth, pulling up on the carriages, jumping out, and she just hi, right, and looking fine. Okay, he's looking like, okay, this could be. That was what their currency was. Now their current, because they have access to resources like that we can get, right? They no longer have to act that way. Because if you do not like them or you do not pick them as a wife, they can still get their money. They have access to unlimited resources now that they don't need men or jump on men's back to get there anymore. In as far as relationship aspect. Now they're getting it, right, just by manipulating and competing in the workplace and trying getting educated, all these things. They say, yes, we're now equal to you guys. And in some cases they think they're better because they use our violent nature against us to make them look better. They think, oh yeah, we're better than you guys because look how you guys acting. Look how you guys delete people and this and that. Not knowing it
But
without the threat of violence, right? Society would be untamed and it would be chaos and they would really lose, right? So they're wrong about that.
no, but look at White High's comment. Shout out to White High. He say, "Men are afraid to be themselves, fearing the 911 call." That is a fact. If men would warm themselves without them calling 911, they won't have no issue. But they are afraid of that 911 call. Not only that, but shout out to No Chases that's also in the building, and also the Mob Father Ken Dog is also in the building. Shout out to him for being here. I know he about to get ready to go to work, but I was saying like, it makes a whole lot of sense. Mike Jones, we'll probably dive in on that topic on another day, but so we can answer that question. But right now we talking about something totally different. But I get what he's saying about the African American missing a lot of money opportunities. We'll dive into that on another show. But thanks for the comment though, Mike Jones. Great to see you. I don't know which channel he's on. Was he on Jordan's side? I think so. I believe so.
He's on the chat. He's on the chat. He's on the Council's radio chat.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
great to see.
yeah,
I
he's on
never
the
seen
chat.
him before. Great, great. Well, he must be a new subscriber. That's what I like to see. So, guys, if you're new to the show, just let us know if you're new to the show. So go ahead, but go ahead, Hakeem. Go ahead. I have to do something real quick, Hakeem. Go right ahead.
No, definitely. You know, man, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat this, man. I need somebody who's gonna submit, follow orders, follow my lead, and not be combative and not be overly masculine. That's what I need. All that other stuff, I don't want no parts of that on the end of the community. That's what I'm striving for.
All right,
You
all
know.
right. Let's do one last quick topic we got here. Let's do next one quick topic before the show went. So we got this one topic. This video went viral, and this was on a Pop on Balloon show. And this was a guy. He was picking and the women there was popping their balloons. And there was one chick he walked towards and talked about the number of baby daddies that she had. I think she had like 3 baby daddies.
Yep.
And she was asking like the question about why you always on all these baby daddies. And she said having a baby daddy, it shouldn't matter